Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya 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 Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Jai Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram कर्णस्वर्णविलोलकुण्डलधरा मातीनवक्षोरुहा मुक्ताहारविभूषणां परिलसद्धम्मिल्लसम्मल्लिकाम् लीनालोलितलोचनां शशिमुखीम् आबद्धताञ्चीसृजम् दिव्यन्तीं भुवनेश्वरीम् अनुदिनम् आनन्दाश्रमशिष्याग्र्यं स्वानन्दाम्बुधिमज्जितं Anandashraminam Vandi Parijnanashramam Gurum. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shri Bhavani Shankaraya Namaha. Shri Matre Namaha. मस्त खुशी जतासा तुमगे निमंत्रण स्वीकार Kanhangad Shaka. It's always been very pleasant, my trips to Anandashram. As I have always said, my very first memories of Anandashram, when I didn't come here, I was brought here 45 years ago probably. Our Mataji sitting there, a benign presence. I don't remember her having addressed me, spoken to me, just sitting there smiling. So those impressions are very powerful. And then it was a process of so this place has its own sanctity. We need to understand, at least intellectually first, what we have received. Then through upasana, we make it our own. Correct? So what is upasana? I'm just throwing some words at you. They are the traditional concepts. You understand upasana? What you're doing is probably upasana, I don't know. Upa is close, asanam is to be seated, upasana. So there's a temple, people come there. Why? Because they've been coming there for generations. So they go there, there's a big crowd, they get a glimpse of the Vigraha there, very happy. Or they're getting some pujas performed there. So that done, they get out, very happy, job done. Or there is a temple and a person is rushing to office, so he just quickly, good, he is a astika and he recognizes as namaskar. But we won't put it in the category of upasana. He is not yet developed an intimacy with the Vigraha or the Devata of the Vigraha. It is more or less, hey, I'm going for an appointment, okay? Or there's going to be an interview. Let that happen. That is more important. Understand? So it won't be upasana. Upasana is when, through your prayers, through the anugraha of the Lord, you realize that He is the most important. The divine is the most important in my life, and it is not a means to getting other things done which are more important. So when that understanding, that maturity comes, the way you approach God also will be different. Okay, help me handle this, but ultimately you are the most important for me. So I will give time for you. This relationship is more important, not as a means to anything else. Correct? So that comes after a lot of tapas, it comes after a lot of understanding, it comes after a lot of what we call satsang. And that understanding then pushes the sadhaka into upasana. So in the Vedas, again words, we have karma kand, we have upasana, and we have jnana. You have heard of this, I'm sure. So karma kand, so karma is generally associated with rituals. We have a lot of pujas, etc. going on. So in this parisara, in this ashram, what do we have? So we have karma kand, do we have upasana, or do we have jnana, or what? Upasana. Are you sure? Let's see. Since it comes in that format, all the karma, and remember, these are Vedic concepts. Most of what is called karma kand is not being observed now. We have the concept of karma. We don't do those yajnas and havanas. You will have heard of Saptashati, etc. So you have some Chandi havana going on, Chandika havana, etc. These are not Vedic concepts. This is not an Agnishtoma yaga or something like that. It is not a Somayag. Those were the traditional yajnas. So down the centuries, we have adopted the tantrika practices also, and those havanas are called Vedic. Some Vedics are doing, so it is Vedic. So that generally comes under what we understand as karma kand. Makes sense? So puja part going on, some rituals are being observed. So that is karma kand. Audible there? Audible? So that are there. So that we put in karma kand. And we like to differentiate because our minds they have to think. There should be some logic. Even when, remember, Desha Kala is for our understanding. The Lord is beyond that. Desha Kala Kalana, He is beyond that. We need to think logically, but we are aspiring for Shiva who is beyond this. We can't jump into that. We go wrong. But we have to move towards that. So it has been put in this manner. Karma kand, yes, rituals. Upasana, yes, well, I don't know what we'll go into it. And jnana. So first cut, what goes on here? Upasana, why? Because very evidently a lack of the rituals, etc. Correct? So is that all that is implied by karma kand and upasana and ritual, jnana? First of all, we should not differentiate, we should not compartmentalize it, in this yoga at least. How you go about it will define whether what you are doing is karma or upasana. The basic philosophy of karma kanda, without going into the details and the technical aspects, whether it is a havana or it is a vidhivat pujana, is you do karma because you have kartritva, bhoktritva. As a human being, I will do. Why? Because I want to enjoy bhoktritva. If I do this, I get this and I am happy. Okay, simple, very simple. Let's understand. So karma is defined by these two factors. So the absolute karma kandis said we don't even really require the concept of God.
Samar.
Please don't change the volume like that because I'll be adjusting, okay? If it starts howling, you can... Is it audible now?
Yeah.
I'll change my position, I'll change this. You don't just tweak it down or tweak it up. So, the karma kandis as they were, we don't have too many of them right now, they went by the very clear concept, philosophy, that the karma itself yields fruit. The karma creates something. When it is done vidhivat, it creates something that is called apurva. And then that translates into punya and papa. And if you do excellent karma as enjoined by the Vedas, you generate a lot of punya and then you get swarga, sukha. Plus. So who determines how you have done, what you have done and what is in your balance now, how much punya? The karma itself has that capacity. They are complete nishtha and karma kanda. That really doesn't happen in these days. So we have a sort of very uneasy mixture of a little bit of karma kanda, a little bit of upasana, a little bit of jnana also. But we need to understand what we are doing. So instinctively you will say, Swamiji, we don't have a lot of puja, so this is upasana that is going on. Will you dare to call yourselves jnanis? With Mataji's, if you are aware of her presence, you will not dare to call yourself jnanis. A declaration I am a jnani is generally a mark of a non-jnani only. So where do we stand? Not just to understand, but to make the best use of this, we will understand these three concepts. Once, if we can accept that the compartmentalization is not probably valid in this yoga, and that we do use a combination, unfortunately or fortunately. We'll have to understand better what is highlighted in this ashrama, upasana, upasana. So my first statement will be, if we do not go into the technicalities like this is karma kanda. Why? Because it is ritual. And generally it is done by a purohit who does it because he is trained in that. He knows the Vedic mantras, you don't. So you tell him, please do this puja on our behalf. Once he does, what happens? He gets the punya. Then you give him the dakshina. Dakshinyam is pleased. So whatever you give him, he is pleased with that. He says, you take the punya, you wanted it. That is the Vedika Sampradaya. Okay. So since we don't want to have a lot of pujas, etc., you can first cut say we don't have karma kand. So what do we have? We have upasana. Yes, definitely we are trying. Upasana is the main. But is your upasana really upasana? That is for each individual to look within and find out. Okay, we are not judging each other or any institutions. But we are going by what is there in this. Correct? Papa's presence, Mataji's presence, we want to make the best use of it. So we can't try something which is totally alien. At the same time, we don't want to lose out on what is there. We have ashramas. See, Mat is a vast thing. Mat has to provide for karmakand, jnana, bhakti, everything. But when we have ashramas, certain aspects will be highlighted. So if upasana is what comes to your mind when I ask this question, we have to understand how much of it is really upasana. Correct? Upasanam, as I said, you go there, you sit there. Sit there means it's not a temporary or fleeting acquaintance we have with God. We are determined to understand this relationship even more clearly, because finally it's dawning on us that all our other aham and mama is not going to really help out. This is called vairagya. Oh, this my boy, I have done so much for him. Actually, he doesn't remember. And now, he says, you keep quiet. I know how to handle things. But this, for an intelligent person, brings about what we call vairagya. The correct understanding, a perception of people, of one's own self and the interpersonal relationship. This is mine only to this extent. I may have started off, this is mine, I have to protect it, I have to do everything for mine, and then the mind starts saying, you keep quiet. That mind has got an independent mind of its own. So this mind field, now you have to be very careful. So the vairagya happens, and if there is no divine element in that person's life, it can lead that person into depression, despondency, or that person becomes extremely cynical. I have done a lot, now see what happens. Nothing more in life. No, we don't. So as vairagya develops through intelligent thinking, we also have another meaning of vairagya, vishesha raga, and that we call bhakti, love for the divine, which is actually our swarupa. That love for the divine comes through punya of past janmas, the satsangas that you have had and the satsangas that you are having. So this satsanga is extremely important. And this we fine-tune, we try to get the best out of through upasana. So upasana is a beautiful word. So we want to understand that naturally, make it more meaningful. So upasana, how does one do upasana? It actually cannot be defined. We have, say, for instance, I just took this Saptashati. There are shlokas in the Saptashati. Again, the story, there's an Akhyayika. You heard of this Durga Saptashati? Okay. Durga Saptashati. Devi Mahima Mahatmyam Durga Saptashati. There are 700 shlokas extolling the mother. The Rishi has burst forth, and it was for whom? The story says there was a king. He had a lot of mama and aham. He took care of his kingdom, but the kingdom was attacked, invasion. He lost. He fled. He just clambered onto his horse and he fled. He was alone in a jungle. Imagine his plight and his despondency, his total frustration, because he had got to know before he fled that it was not just an outside job, there was an inside job. His own amatya, his own so-called his people had also betrayed him. So that pain was there, not just the loss of the pain of a defeat, so to say. He was a Kshatriya. So he was meandering, wandering in the jungle. Finally he came across a beautiful ashram in the jungle. So he was given a refuge there. So he stayed there. Things were going on well in that ashrama. There was a rishi, his students were there, they were performing their duties, the Veda part, etc. Everybody pleasant, everybody doing their yoga abhyasa, their adhyayana, etc. In that small group, he discovered one person and he developed a sort of empathy with him. Why? Because that person was the only person besides this king who was despondent. So he said, wow, another like me. So he said, well, who are you? Why are you here? That man said, I was a good businessman, a very flourishing business that I had. And then my children, I took care of them. It was all theirs. They were going to handle it. But they took a call. They said, we don't have to wait for you to die. Right now itself, you keep quiet. We'll handle the business better than you did. And he was thrown out. So that Samadhir Nama Vaishyoham, his name was Samadhi. So he was also in a state of shock. So this king meets this businessman. Try to understand what's going on, okay? It is to their credit that they realize something is wrong in their understanding. The king said, I have been betrayed and yet I am worried about my kingdom, my people, those horses, those elephants, etc., etc. I can't get rid of that worry. The businessman said, hey, that's true. I have been so badly let down. I didn't lose a kingdom, but my own family said, you have done enough now, we'll enjoy this. We know how to earn and spend. We are not required. You are interfering with this. Your concepts are old, the whole business scheme has changed, etc. I know that, but still I worry. I am here in a jungle, I have nothing to do. I have been told to go out, and still I keep worrying about them. What is this? With that, they are becoming sadhakas. Okay? They are becoming upasakas. If this inquiry doesn't happen, whatever you do, even in the name of upasana, maybe just karmakand or worse, not even karmakand. Please understand. So with that inquiry, they approached the rishi and asked him, what is this? They didn't say, oh, can you do something, can you do some puja part or something, or get some havana performed so that, those people become favorable and we can go back. They just said, what ails us? Even after this experience, we can't get rid of that mamatva, that mine, I am responsible. They are sadhakas. So there the Rishi said, it's very difficult to explain, but I'll let you know one thing. Just observe. You see these birds, even they take care of their little ones. Born out of eggs. A hawk invades, that sparrow will attack the hawk. Otherwise it would have fled. But it sees its little ones there in it. So it's nothing unique to human beings. We have what we call culture. We need that sabhyata. At the same time, it is instinctive. Okay, so nothing great. That is the first lesson. And why does this happen? The Rishi said, all I can say is that Shakti which creates, sustains and dissolves, she is Mahamaya. She brings about this feeling also. This is mine, I should protect. Because that is how her creation will progress, isn't it? So this is all the leela of this Shakti which I can only call Mahamaya. So naturally the question would be, how do we understand her? How do I recognize? How can I meet her, realize her or whatever? First, another caution, I cannot define her. Not only that, the Rishi then brought out the entire Saptashati. There the three charitras of the mother are given. She who manifested as Kali, she who manifested as Saraswati, she who manifested as Mahalakshmi. If you understand this, maybe you will understand she is one and she is beyond all these three. Now when you begin to understand the Saptashati like this, probably we are becoming upasakas. So in Karma Kand, the Saptashati is used, the Havanas etc. are performed, the Ahutis are with the particular ingredients, whatever you want, for a specific. If there's some negativity, to dispel that, certain shlokas are used as mantras in the Saptashati. With Swahakar they are offered, that reaches the mother. Because the ahutis are given in the Yajna Kunda. And what is there in the Yajna Kunda? Water, fire, Agni, Avyavahana. So he is the postman, he is the courier. It is offered to him. And then please go and give this to the mother. She is beyond my. You are the Devata who will give this, convey this to the mother, whatever I have offered her. And then her blessings and my job will be done. That is the karma kanda. Here we are using those mantras to help us. There is something in me, there is a lacuna in me, there is a weakness in me. Remove this. Then it becomes upasana. You understand this? Why am I doing it? Because I need to understand you better. That makes it upasana. Anything making sense? If I use the mantras, Sarvabadha Prashamanam Trailokyasya Akhileshwari Evameva Tvaya Karyam Asmadvairi Vinashanam. Why? Because I feel there's a lot of politics going on in my office or whatever. I require protection. So these are all my vairis. I know them. Behind my back or very evidently they are trying to put me down. There's nothing much I can do. So I'll get that puja done or I'll do the mantra japa saying these defined vairis, take care of them. Why? Because I've surrendered to you. And it is your swabhava, sarva badha prashamanam, removing of all obstacles. हे त्रैलोक्यस्य अखिलेश्वरी एवमेव त्वया कार्यम. ऐसे ही आपके द्वारा किया जाना चाहिए. This is what you should do. Asmad vairi vinashanam, destruction of our enemies. Why? Because you are Shakti. And why should you do it for me? Because I have surrendered to you. But where the goal is dispelling or removal of all negativity defined, then probably it goes into karma kand. Even if you are doing the japa and you are not getting the havana done, the orientation, when it changes, when the sadhaka says, I really cannot identify my vairis, because most of the vairis are seated within me. It is my corruption, my weakness that, probably brings these, encourages them, and it makes me impotent. I am not able to deal with this. So remove these corruptions. There you are appealing to the mother directly and saying these vairis, you take care of them and they are within. They are not people, so to say. Makes sense? This orientation will convert that same mantra japa into upasana. Okay, so far? So this upasana aspect, at this level, if this makes sense, let us understand what we can gain also. I brought out and mentioned something yesterday. Ram Naam has to be recited here. We don't go too much into Vedic mantras and all. So is your uttering of Ram Naam becoming an upasana or is it becoming a karma kand? I don't know. You may say that. I'll ask you. And I'll ask you to answer it to yourself. Don't tell me. If it's being done mechanically, it's probably just a karma kand. It's a tradition now. You have not learned the Vedas, you are not responsible, you have learned Ram Naam, but you are doing it because you have been told to do it. Is anything happening inside? I don't know. So that will also become karma. It is not bad, it is better than gossiping. But if you are not paying attention to it, it will remain at the level of maybe. Now please understand, karma kand is not something I am discarding, okay? It is really required. When you are in trouble, you will get karma kand done, you will get pujas done. So we want to elevate that also to upasana. But your pure upasana, what we consider upasana, if it is going into karma, it is just becoming mechanical. That will be a tragedy. You will not be availing of whatever is here, available here. Okay? And it's easier without any too much of paraphernalia.